Good time zone YouTube, Legit Jenkins here, bringing you my thoughts and feelings on the Final Fantasy VII Remake. As always, smash that like button, sub to the channel and comment your feelings down below of what you think of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. A TLDR will be at the end of the video, with a timestamp in the description as well if you do want to skip to that bit. Also going forward from this point on there will be minor spoilers, so turn away now if you do want to avoid them. So now the warning part is done, just wow, this game is absolutely gorgeous to look at. Seeing Midgar fully reimagined and recreated in stunning 3D with PS4 Pro, graphics, everything is just amazing. Just walking around Midgar is a treat. Whilst it was lovely in the 1997 original, you could only really see it in a standard top-down section style maps, so only certain parts. I mean, now you can see it gloriously in 3D, you can freely move the map around, the camera around, you can see the looming plates above. It really just sets the stage extremely well for the game. The difference between the contrast from going from the slums to the top side to the Shinra building to even Wall Market. The game stage must be being captivated and redone for the new generation of Final Fantasy VII fans. Moving on to the combat, it's fluid and it's easy to grasp, blending the old turn-based style with a more action-orientated style. Whilst the lock-on and the camera can be a little bit temperamental at times, these instances seem to be few and far between. Normally if you get cornered in against the wall, in which case that part of the game you're kind of screwed anyway, so even on normal mode there is a challenge to some of the fights, and during my hard playthrough, as I've been doing it now, even with my level 40 plus characters, standing enemies are even tough enough to make me stand there and think, okay, how do I get through this fight? Some of the fights have been done extremely well, however the issue that I've got is some of them seem a bit tacked on, especially in the later stages where you just get everything thrown at you at once and it just gets so convoluted and hard to kind of work out that you feel like you don't have a chance to fight back. The boss fights are masterfully recreated as well, from the Scorpion to the hard as nails Hell House that you had to fight in Corneo Cut, and the summons as well. Oof. They've been done in such a way that they can't be spammed in every fight, but taking away some of that randomness that you saw in the Final Fantasy 15 game. They feel powerful as well, but not so powerful that you feel that you pretty much guarantee a win. And the different summons you get in this game, spanning from Leviathan and Shiva, Ifrit, and the Fat Chocobo, even Chocobo and Mugo, they're just, every single one seems to have their own little unique look. And the fact they fight alongside you as a guest character instead of just coming in for one move is just such a nice touch. The drawback with the game though, for me personally, is the party system. Whilst it's there to an extent, never really feels like the original or any other older Final Fantasy games does. At most points you only ever really have a max of 3 characters in your party, not really giving me the choice or variety the other games had. Whilst this isn't always the case, sometimes you do have all 4, but not often. It isn't until you really get, as I said, to the end of the game where you finally make that choice of who you do want in your party. Do you want Barret and Cloud and Tifa, or do you want Tifa, Aerith and Cloud? Really takes away some part of the aspect that it does make an RPG game. It seems to be as and when the story dictates when these characters will be used. I mean, whilst this does allow for some characters that may have been forgotten otherwise, it is frustrating as you have to constantly swap materia over to whoever's going to be your healer at the time, or your spellcaster, or your, melee damage dealer. It does raise the question though with the next installments and how the party system will work, as the next section of the game is very open for exploration on the world map. Speculations whether or not that's actually going to be in the game or not anyway. But where it's a very, very open game where you have all these different party members that you can swap in and out as and when you see fit, begs the question, are they going to keep that? Or will it feel like the same tactics as the story goes, characters will come and go as they see fit, as it were? I'm hoping personally that it does stick to the tried and tested, have as many parties as they can, but choose who you want to be active. The weapon system in the game, however, is the particularly strong suit as well, allowing you to run the entire game with the Buster Sword or the Gatling gun, without ever really touching a new weapon if you don't want to. This is great, as it means rather than just constantly getting a new weapon, throwing or selling the old ones away as in previous RPGs, you keep them in there. They don't take up the space anyway, but this way you could just go, okay, I fancy for aesthetics, I'm going to use a Buster Sword, like I did for the last chapter. I went straight and put on the Buster Sword again. I just liked the look of it, the idea of using the Buster Sword at the end. Taking the look of the old sphere grid from the FX10, or even the paradigm shifts from Final Fantasy 13, the weapon upgrade system just fits the game well and adds the depth that the original didn't have, rather than the, ooh, shiny new stuff, so sell away my old stuff. Biggest issue that I have, one of the biggest issues I do have, is you get material like it's going out of fashion, and I mean pretty much all your characters be spellcasters or if you like healers. The story itself follows the original game quite closely, however certain things do take a different path and deviate, and as you get closer and closer to the ending you do notice that more and more. Whilst there have been complaints on the internet about how this game does not follow to the letter the OG game, Square have always said that this will be treated as a new story, which brings me to another point. This does feel like more of a reimagining than a remaster. This new direction that the story takes allows for a lot of surprises, and even vets for Final Fantasy VII to be surprised and not fully know the direction the story will take. Now we come to the TLDR of this video, and it is as follows. This game is a masterpiece in its craft, in my opinion, and what Square have created makes me excited for the next installments. The combat is a fluid blend of the original modernised, and the story and character development is amazingly thoroughly fleshed out. It's as good as the original, but as I said, it allows for that bit of depth. The weapon upgrade system allows for diversity, however the party system is barely a thing in the game, and is a real takeaway from the standard RPG genre. The exploration, stage setting and storytelling is well done and thought out. The fact that it follows the narrative of the 1997 game but adds and fleshes out parts of the original story for me is an absolute plus. I wouldn't want to spend £50 on each instalment for a like for like with better graphics. For me, that wouldn't be a great worth of money. I'd rather just play the original. Thank you for watching. I've been Legit Jenkins, and if you could smash that like button, sub to the channel, and of course comment your thoughts down below of what you thought of playing the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I will see you next time. Goodbye.